Hey everybody, welcome to New Media Design Communications, the first assignment, which is going to be a video ad. I know you're excited. The good thing is, most of you should have the grunt work on this project done already, because you did it in Dan's multimedia class. So what we're going to ask you to do is to use that final project you did for Dan and use that as a starting point for what we're calling the video ad in New Media Design Communications. We're going to add some things. Maybe we're going to take away some things. I know we're going to add some captions, some text. We're going to add a call to action. We're going to add some voiceover. I'm really excited to be teaching this class. I'm a huge fan of film and video and audio. I've actually I've been a graphic designer for almost 30 years in the industry. Not only that, I've also worked in film and television in the art department, and I've even worked on good old-fashioned 80s music videos. So one of our main focuses for this class this semester is going to be motion graphics. Why? Well, because in speaking with current industry professionals that are out there looking for potential candidates, that is the number one thing that all of them said was a skill that is needed for potential candidates that they're going to hire. Motion graphics, the knowledge of motion graphics, the skills to create and present motion graphics. What I'm going to ask you to think about when working on this revised video, so to speak, is the flow, the rhythm, the feel of it. We need to get it up to the level of looking like a clean, smooth, professional ad. We're probably going to knock most of them down to 30 seconds. If you can justify keeping it at 45 seconds, we can do that. Let's see, we need to think about how it moves. Are the clips similar in duration? Do they need to speed up or slow down depending on the content? Most short ads have clips that are similar in duration and transition smoothly. They have text that comes in smooth and leaves smooth. The most important thing I can advise you in this project is to keep it simple. Don't try to get crazy with special effects or animation. I mean, there's going to be a certain level of movement that is required. But what we just really want to represent, and we want you to be able to show, is just a simple ad that demonstrates your strength in design and your grasp of motion graphics. As in all video, film, commercials, ads, there are three major parts to the process. 1, writing, 2, shooting, and 3, editing. 1 and 3 are critical. 1 and 3, writing and editing, can make or break your video regardless of what the videography or photography looks like. So we're going to be focused heavily on your storyboard, and especially, this project is basically about your editing and the editing skills that you need to develop, the editing skills that maybe you already have. All right, so there's plenty of information on Moodle and on your assignment sheet about storyboarding and and about the process of this project in much more detail. So please look at that. Please read it. There's instructional videos that go into great detail how to successfully create the video that we're looking for. I think there's like 3 20-minute videos. I'll be doing the lecture in class as well, but you'll always have those videos to reference or to go back on for any specific details of the things we're talking about. So please utilize all your resources, and most importantly, utilize your lab time. You're going to need every bit of it. If reshooting anything will be on a case-by-case basis. Any reshooting that does need to take place should take place outside of lab time, because you're going to need every last second of lab time to get this project completed. All right. I'm excited. Okay, so this is part 1 of the instructional videos for your first assignment for new media design communications. Just a quick overview of getting your files in, doing some real quick rough editing. So we're actually going to pick up from your final project in multimedia with Dan, and we're going to take that project, tweak it, fine-tune it, edit some more, maybe shorten it. We're going to add some captions. We're going to add a call to action. And we're just going to make it look super professional, super clean, and a portfolio piece. So let's, hopefully you, for this project, will be going to open existing project. If you're in Dan's class last semester, you just need to go to open project. If you're starting from scratch, I'm not sure how many of you are doing that, then you'll want to go to new project, give your video a name, find a place to save it, and then create. And you'll sort of be going from there with an empty project. Now, what I'm going to be doing is sort of a cross between the two. I'm going to open an empty project, kind of an empty project. So most of you should already have a file to open. And if you go to open and go to your folder, which should be named something appropriate. Mine is where my work is called RCC. My project is called Groove Street. And we're going to be hanging out in here for a while. So I have named all my folders appropriately. I feel like this is something that's really important for you guys to get used to doing. Be out there in the real world and naming. This is the way I do it. Your methods may be different, but I take the most unique thing about the folder, and I put that first, and then I put the appropriate client name or anything else that may be unique about the folder. Like if this is logo, this is a folder of logos, so there's a few different ones in there. You can either go to open project, or if you've already have it, it should be here in the recent list. Mine is add Groove Street, so I'm going to open that. There we go. It's back there, and as you can see, I've already brought in my project elements to here, the video clips, the music, and the logo. They're going to live right there. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drag some of these down. as you can see, I've also named these files appropriately. If you're getting files off your camera, off your SD card, off your camera, or if you're downloading images, I like to always go back and name them appropriate names so I can keep track of what's going on and what needs to go where. These are all sort of restaurant type video clips, and you can see exterior pan sign. I can get a little preview of that. Right, let's see right here. If I want to make sure of what it is, I can look at it. Not like that, like this. There we go, like that. I can even kind of scroll back and forth. Here is food being served. I can take a look at that. This is one that I'm probably going to use that part right there. I'm probably not going to use the whole thing. But either way, first of all, I'm going to drag these clips down into my sequence timeline just to get them roughed in. I'm not going to think about editing right now. I am going to kind of think about the order of them just to get them down there and sort of getting an idea of how long I want to go. Now this video I just want to make 30 seconds. I'm going to give you the option of keeping yours at 45 or cutting it down to 30. So I know that I want to start with the exterior pan of the sign. So I'm going to drag that down here into a layer. And look at there, looks like I've got an audio file that's linked up there with it. What do I do now? Because I don't want to use their audio. I'm going to use my own audio. What does it even sound like? I don't hear anything. So anyway, let's get rid of it. Let's control click or right click, and you want to unlink that audio from there. You definitely, if you shot your own footage of your own video clips, you probably don't want to hang on to the audio that's attached to those. So that's something important you might want to know. All right, so and then I know I've got a kitchen prep video here. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. Okay, that's going to be a quick clip, but let's drag that down next. And what I want to do is I want to put it on a different layer just so I can kind of overlap a little bit and have a little bit of freedom with a different layer. Oh, there it is. It's already got the transition in there, is fade from black and a fade to black. So I'm going to definitely get rid of those first thing. But in the meantime, all right, let's go over to I think what is serve food being served, which is the coffee clip, which I'm not going to use very much of. So anyway, I can drag that back down into the other layer. Also, there's another audio file that I don't need. Let's get rid of that before I forget. And unlink, delete. And then I think after the food being served, I'm going to have these guys eating some food. Let's drag that in there. And then after that, I'm kind of flying through this because you should already have this done. But for whatever reason, if you don't, or if you just want to watch me goof off here, that's fine. Where's my wine? There's the wine people that look so happy and fun. And what am I doing after wine? I think, the band. Yeah, I got to there's live entertainment at this place, this fictional place that I'm of course there's audio associated with that. Let's unlink that. Okay, and there we go. And then I've decided, I think that I don't want to use the exterior sandwich board because it's kind of irrelevant to what I'm doing here. It says something about tacos anyway. So I want to go back and use my original original front sign, just because that way I'm going to use a different section of it. It's going to look slightly original, but it also sort of tie it all back together, bring it. Okay, so I think we've roughed all our clips in that we're going to use. And here's that last one I was talking about that's kind of ties it back together. I'm probably just going to use the last half of that. But anyway, let's these are all just roughed in. Let's take a look at all. That's our whole timeline. We can view it really small or really big using these little toggle guys down here. So here we are at about this size. Now, if we're kind of going through these, and you'll notice the boom. Wait, what's wrong with that? It's different. It's different proportions than everything else. That goes back to normal. That's normal. Then smaller proportions than normal again. So we're gonna have to fix that. And if you shot all this yourself, it's probably not going to matter because it's probably all going to be the same ratio, same proportions. I downloaded a bunch of free stuff, which means mine is going to be all over the place unless I'm really careful, which I wasn't. So what we want to do is get over this so we can see it. Get over it with your cursor thing there. I don't know the real name for it. But and then you select it, and you can literally, just like an image, bring it up to the correct size to where it fills the frame. You want it to fill the frame. The resolution looks fine for what we're doing. Yeah, same with this one. Okay. Now let's get into this one and do the same thing. Just double click, bring it up so it fills the frame. Now I know on this one the server's coming in from the right hand side, so I want to get a little more of that right hand side. Not sure what's going. There we go. Okay. A little more of that right hand side. I'm not going to use this whole clip at all. And this guy's good. Eating. Why is he so big? Okay. And then the wine people get in, and then the band. We're going to double click on these guys. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries. And get them to fill out the frame. Resolution looks okay. It's nothing great, but and then there's our closing frame. So now we have everything sort of roughed in. We can kind of take a quick look at it. Right now we're at like a minute and a half, which is way too long. So we know we're going to lose a lot of this stuff. And don't be afraid. Sometimes it's harder to cut things and cut footage than it is to add footage. So sometimes shorter videos are a little more difficult because of course you shot all this stuff. You want to put it all in there. This is where editing comes in, and this is where the eye for editing comes in. And keeping your video flowing and smooth and rhythmic, and so that the clips are generally about the same length. That serving one is way too long. Most of these are way too long. Some of them are just a little too long. They're all too long. And so we're gonna work on that. That's gonna be our next step after we get our logo in there, just to have in there. For now, this wine scene is entirely too long. It's in slow motion. We can speed it up if we need to. I'll show you how to do that later on, and that's a good trick to fine-tuning your video length. Is you can even speed things up and slow things down such a minute amount that you can't even notice it, except that it'll bring you to the 30-second mark, or it'll take you back to the 30-second mark, and you'll be perfect. Why do we need to be 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 1 minute? That's how ad space is sold, generally speaking, is by seconds. So we need to be precise. We don't want to make them too long because then that would be against the specifications of the ad, and we don't want to make them too short because then our client wouldn't get their money's worth. Okay, let's get this crazy logo in here so we can move on and do some editing. Yeah, it's let's see which one we're going to use. Let's get a preview. I just made these up like 5 minutes ago. Don't laugh. It's got a little transparency to it. Let's pull that one down here just to start with. We can always change it later if we want to. So as you can see, like with this logo too, it's way too small. Take note though, let's zoom in a little bit here. The logo, just like a still image, you can make it last as long as it's just like a clip. You can make it go across multiple frames, just part of a frame or whatever. Right now, we know we have to make it bigger. Grab a corner and then hit shift to keep it in proportion. And I don't know what we're going to do with this logo just yet, but right there looks okay for now. Yeah, let's go ahead and copy that because I know we're going to use it at the end too. So let's take a look at that. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's there. It appears. We're going to put some transitions on it as well. Now, so I've got this logo up here on its own layer. If I travel down to the end of the video and kind of click about where I want it, kind of click in that layer. Oop, no, I don't want to hit space. I want to hit Command V. We can put it down here and then drag it back up to where the third layer, just to keep it organized with the other logo, and there it is. Okay, so for the most part, we have our elements in there, except for our captions and a few other things, or music. But right now, let's edit these clips down because they are way too long. All right, now is the time when we get down in there and get dirty. This is where you're going to want to figure out what you're going to use, what you're not going to use, what's the most appealing, what works best with the flow of your video. So I know, all right, I got this logo, it's whatever it is, what it is. I know for the street shot, the pan across the sign, I'm going to use like the first half at the beginning of the video, and the second half at the end of the video. So I'm going to bring this back to about, let's get to where we can see numbers here, to about maybe 3 seconds. Let's take a look at what 3 seconds looks like. Yeah, 2.5, maybe 3. Okay, let's take it to 3, and then our kitchen shot is too long. Let's take a look at what we want to use from that. Obviously, we want to get rid of the beginning and the end because it is a transition into that. So black, dissolve, and then at the end is also a dissolve to black. So as you can see, I want you to look up here. You can see I'm getting a preview of what I'm cropping out. So blah, 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 and then there's full saturation there. So I don't want any of that black. I'm going to bump it back up to here. And then, as I like to always do, is I like to take a look at it, see how it flows. Okay, and that may still be a little too long. Let's just use the tail end of it because he's actually got some food out there. Okay. Got greens are always good. Look healthy. Let's start about right there. And then crop that out. And then I still use a lot of the same terminology from graphic design. because that's what I know. Videographers probably have a different word for it. There. So now I can see way down. Down, 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 down. Even more. Let's bring it up here. Okay, there's the server coming in. Oh, wait. Okay. Let's put our marker right where the server comes in. I'm going backwards here. Okay, so right there's where he comes in. Let's take a look at that. Still moving kind of slow. Yeah. That's probably all we need right there. Let's bring that in. Boom. That's still a really long clip. For this, we're already at 14 seconds. What's next? Let's zoom smaller so we can get a better idea of what we have. Okay, eating. Okay. I don't want to just focus on, it's just him, isn't it? That's kind of, all right, so I like the passing across the table. That's nice. Okay, let's cut him back, and then let's go up here and see. This is just where you're using your best judgment. He's reaching, and then he's happy. He's got his olives or grapes or something. And then we're going to go to the wine people, which are definitely way too long. So there's the toast. And then, see, there's the toast. And then we get a full view of lots of faces. And then we could cut it there or shortly after that. Oh, there's even more faces. Okay, let's keep that. We're already at 29 seconds. So this is going to be really difficult to get this band in here. Should we cut the band? Not yet. Let's see what we got. And see, instead of cropping, I can always just like put the band, kind of overlapping there. So, you get the wine people. We got a nice view. Boom. There's some live entertainment. And now we're at the exterior. We're at 44 seconds, but we're getting close. We're doing good so far. So, all right. Now, we still got to knock about 12 seconds off. All right, I'm going to cut that one there so it doesn't get too long. And part 2 is next. Okay, this is part 2 of the instructional video for your first assignment for New Media Design Communications. This one's going to kind of get into a little more tweaking of the clips and how they interact with each other, getting smoother transitions, cleaning it up, tightening it up down to 30 seconds, getting some text in there, working with the text. So have fun. Usually what I can do now is do a quick just a quick look at the whole video, and it'll be real obvious what I need to cut, what I need to change, what I need to move around. So let's do that. All right. We got the X2, got the prep dude with carrot assault, and then the server. That's a little long. That doesn't need to be that long. It's way too long. People eating, also way too long. I could probably stop right there. See how obvious it becomes now? And then the toast could probably stop right there. Okay, we got everybody we need, got all the faces we're going to see. The band, they may not even make the cut, we'll see. And then the closing with the random logo appearing. All right, so let's go get those guys that we just talked about. So let's make it a little bigger. Kitchen guy, carrot assault, written down a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so let's tuck these guys in. The server coming in, and then there was way too much at the end there. So server serving, boom. That's probably all we need. That's gonna save us a lot of time right there. That's good. So see how like I get like hack happy once it gets to this stage. All right. Oh, okay. And then we've got the toast, and boom, we could lose it at the toast. Right after the toast, right there. And then we've got the band, and right. Okay, so that's plenty of the band. And then we've got the closing shot. See how once you can step back and look at it, this gets pretty simple. We're at 28 seconds. So we're under 30 seconds. That is a quick and dirty way to get there. Now, do we need to add any? Let's not do that just yet. You can see sort of the graphic timeline of our logo up here under effect controls. You can see that there's lots of effect controls under motion, opacity, time remaining, blah blah blah. So let's look at motion. I'm going to do something with the logo that it may not look that great for this video, but in case it's something that you want to use as a motion animation, or it's not really an animation, but it's a movement. So what we're going to do is I want this logo to start off screen, and I want to create keyframes with this. So that's my starting position. I have my toggle switch at the beginning where I want to start. I'm going to hit that to create a keyframe, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the toggle position to where I want the logo to end up, and move the logo where I want it. I want it to end up in the center at that time in the film, in the video. So then it creates another keyframe there. So that's a quick and easy little movement there, and that's where it'll stop for the moment. But anyway, you're gonna get a little movement animation there. If I would want to slow that down, all I'd have to do is take this keyframe and move it so it'd actually take a lot longer to do what it's doing. And if I wanted to, let's select the logo again. If I wanted to speed it up, right, it would be like that. Because we're goofing around here, let's do some other, we've got the movement, let's scale it. So back at the beginning, let's take it back to the beginning. Now we know we've already scaled this graphic, which is it's at about 419% now. So at the beginning, let's take it down to 300, and we're gonna have to hit that clock to create a keyframe at the beginning. Okay, so now it's at 300. So let's take it to almost where it's gonna stop, and take it back up to, what was it, 419? Let's make it 420 at the end there. So now we've got this line. We can go ahead and maybe that's not dramatic enough. Is that dramatic enough? That's not dramatic enough. So let's make it even smaller when it comes out of the chute there. So there. So now we've got another hokey effect on there, which actually, again, doesn't look as silly as I thought it would. And plus, it's showing learning new skills. Let's keep going with the graphics effects. As you can see, we've got the bloom, the getting bigger, they're moving across the screen. One of the easiest ones now is going to be rotation. So again, we're back here at the beginning, and let's I want to have it kind of rolling out like a wheel. So let's start it back here. Let's start it back here at maybe 75, 73, something like that, 74. Okay, so if we look at it just now, it's gonna come out like that. So where do we want it to end up? We want it to end up like right here at the end, and we want it to be wait, did we hit the clock? We didn't hit the clock. Okay, back here at 74, we got to hit the clock. So it creates a keyframe. And then we roll it out to the very end where we want it to actually return to 0. And that creates sort of another little thing. You can see it rolling in like a wheel. It's the more I do the goofy stuff, the more I like it. All right, let's play with opacity now. I'm gonna back it up to the beginning. I guess I want it to fade in. I'm not sure yet. I need to see it. So let's start at 55 and hit that clock to create a keyframe. And then let's say by the time I get, oh, that's kind of nice. I like that. Let's say by the time it gets out here, it's maybe at 75. So, still, well, let's make it 85. I don't want it to be 100, but I want it, there we go. That's a little bit better. So let's take a look at all those effects together. Whoa, okay, crazy, right? So, all right, so let's just keep that in there just for the sake of keeping it in there, shall we? And I mean, you can keep on going with all kinds of stuff down here. I encourage you to explore the effects controls because there's a lot in here that I'm not showing you. There's a lot in here that I don't know about. So play around, have fun with them, make mistakes, try it again, keep going. All right. All right, let me show you something else pretty cool that can actually make this not as quite as hokey. See how the movement is a little jarring right there. So if you can select your time frames. And I'm not sure how to describe exactly what I'm doing here, but I'm affecting the speed of the movement, the velocity. So you can see these. You can see what I'm doing here to bring it down, and then I'm creating this curve up here, which can also be moved. But it makes it come in sort of at a stutter, and then sort of slow down before it stops, which is kind of nice if you watch it. Oh, well, let's try that again. There you go. See how it kind of slows down as it spins in there for the landing. So, like I said, that's one of those things that you want to play with and get to know these curves and velocities and speeds and sort of that whole Ken Burns thing. If you're familiar with that, if not, you should get familiar with Ken Burns. And that should take us into transitions, which is up here in our effects window. If you go down very bottom is video transitions, and probably the most common is dissolve. So additive dissolve, you can mess around with a lot of these. film dissolve at the end of a graphic seems to work pretty good. And all you do is click and drag that down there. Click and drag it at the end of your clip. So that just means I want it to dissolve there at the end like that, but not like that, because that's just getting the transition in there. What I really want to happen is I want it to go sort of dissolve into the next clip a little bit. And so I can drag the clip for the graphic out a little bit and maybe start this dissolve a little later, so the dissolve effect is just like a clip. I can drag it and shorten it and lengthen it and do whatever I want. Let's see how that looks. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. So let's start it back at the beginning. Look at it again. See how smooth it is. Yep. And maybe start a little sooner and a little quicker. Yeah, something like that. It's too long still. Okay. Still too long, I think. So, yeah, maybe that'll work. So anyway, and this is also something you'll be using a lot in your in-between clips. Well, there we go. That's quick enough. Okay. See that again. All right. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Anyway, a lot of editing is just repetition. If you ever want to do something, a standard transition, you need to get these clips right next to each other and then bring a cross dissolve in between them like that. So let's see how the cross dissolve is going, spanning over both of them. And what you'll see here is what a cross dissolve looks like, which is kind of nice. It's more of like a film, long video type thing. You can do it over here too. There's lots of different transitions to use. Don't get crazy with them. Now that we've got that dissolve in there, that's kind of going out. What we can do, so we don't have to do all this over again, is copy and bump this down to the end here, where we want, and we're going to get rid of our basic logo that's basically doing nothing. It's just sitting there and disappearing, to our crazy cool logo that comes in like that. And now we're going to see what that looks like. Yeah, okay. We know we're going to need to extend a little bit of video somewhere. Sorry, it jumps back automatically. So let's watch this all the way through again and see what we've got. That looks good. That looks good. Good cut. I feel like that could happen a little quicker. Maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe a little later. This is what editing is. Lots of tweaking. Okay, that's good. Let's bring this end out a little bit to make up for that we got rid of there. I like that. Okay, let's bring the band in a little quicker. Let's end them a little quicker. Bring that in a little quicker. We are kind of falling on the beat a little bit. So the end might be a place where you can put some information. This is where a call to action is going to be. Okay, so what we're going to do, we know that we could use some extra at the end here. Maybe to have a website, contact information, and a call to action. I'm not sure yet. So what all we need to do, it's already kind of a nice slow moving clip that's not very distracting. I'm not going to, I'll change it. But anyway, in the meantime, we need to extend this clip out to exactly 30 seconds. So let's right click on it and speed duration. Let's bump it down so it moves it to about 75%. See where that takes us. That's actually going to make the clip longer because it'll be moving. Okay, it's not quite where we need to be. So let's go back again. 70%. And we can, I think, yeah. Let's try it again. Let's make it 74, 73. Wait, yeah, okay. And we can always do something there at the end. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, you can't even tell I did it. So it's moving at about 75% speed. All right, so, oops, I started over again. I keep doing that. All right, let's jump back to the end. Let's get the logo in a little bit better, a little bit sooner. Let's see where it needs to come in. Right there. Okay. Yeah. Whoop, it dissolves out too quick. All we have to do is extend it. All right, so we're going to work with some text. We're going to get 3 pieces of text in our video. I was calling them captions earlier, but that's probably not good terminology because there are features in Premiere where you can have them auto caption live dialogue. So let's just call it text for now. I've worked some text in here at the beginning. As you can see, my goofy logo coming in. And then Asheboro's newest eatery. So I've got that in here. Put some movement and some effects on it. It is like it's simple, it's quick and easy. And here's what I'm going to do. As you can see, I did a lot of control editing over here. So if you need to be able to see things more up close and better, you can undock this panel like that. Premiere is kind of likes to cram everything in there together. It's not the way I work in Illustrator. I usually work with my tools over in one monitor, which you can't see, and then my actual display in the right monitor. So anyway, if you need to undock, well, I didn't want that one. I wanted Essential Graphics. So undock Essential Graphics, then it pops out here. You can put it wherever you want. Take it over to the other monitor, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so and now that I've got some text in here, I'm going to do a quick way. I know this is a 30-second video, so everything's going to move quickly. I don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. I know what I'm going to say. All I really need to figure out is where I'm going to say it. And what I'm going to do, I've got both of these texts, these text blocks that move independently in one layer, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that layer and Command C and Command V, and my next text is going to say something like daily drink specials. So I need to decide where I want that to be in my video. Maybe right there, obviously. That could be. So what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to just select it, go down here to my text tool, and retype so I don't have to do all those effects and everything over again. Daily drink specials, or yeah, sure. Let's keep it simple. Don't judge my creativity here. I'm just going through the motions. But your client will probably come up with lots of things they want to say. So you just have to make it look good. All right, so there's daily drink specials coming in right there, but maybe that's not. Maybe it should come in right there. Okay. So we can actually move it above on a different layer so that we can have it sort of cross over. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. Now, do we want to take it up to the top corner instead of the bottom corner? That's a question we'll answer later. Right now we've got it blocked in, got it roughed in. That's the important thing. Asheboro's newest eatery, server, blah blah blah. Dude getting his grapes, daily drink specials, and then here we're gonna have live music. So daily drink specials goes a little too long. Let's take it back to right at the beginning of the live music, because we're gonna have live music come right in right about here. So let's duplicate daily drink specials, copy, and paste right there. Let's get it back over. Okay. Live music. Live local music. How about that? Huh? That sounds better, doesn't it? And it's got 3 words. Exactly what we need. Live local music. Okay. So we've got that coming in. All right, let's take a look at that. See how that flows. Daily drink specials looks decent. I don't like covering up all those people's faces. Live local music. Yeah, that probably needs to end before. Oh, okay. I can bump that back a little. There we go. All right. So as you can see, I've got a film dissolve on there. I've got some movement with this text. Did the old slow down, speed up a little bit with the curves. Okay, so that's the end of part 2. Part 3 is going to be much shorter. So part 3 coming up. I lied. This last and third video is just as long, if not longer, than the other 2 videos. This one gets into fine tuning, some additional graphic movements, text movements. Enjoy. Change the direction of this text coming in a little bit. Daily drink specials right there. Just to mix it up a little bit. You should be doing that. Doesn't have to be too complicated, but simple like that. And as you can see, let's grab one of them here. And look up in over here. And scroll down to drink specials. Got our keyframes. I've changed our keyframes to go from that side. That daily's coming in from the right, and drink specials is coming in from the left. So as you can see, So all I did was move these items and then reset the keyframes. Okay, so let's take a look at the whole thing, see how it flows. I've tweaked a few little things. We still need to do a call to action. So we'll do our call to action in there somewhere, probably right in here. Come to the website today, blah, 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 get your first entree half off. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. What I want to do is kind of show you how to to use the keyframes and velocity adjustments to make this text a little smoother. I've been smoothing out some of the text and the movement coming in. So you can see back here, there's the silly logo. That's coming in nice and smooth. That's coming in nice and smooth. This one's a little rocky, so let's work on this one. Okay, so let's look at live first. And sometimes I like to close source text because it's just in the way right now. Unless I'm going to change fonts or change the color, not doing that right now. What I want to work on is position and the velocity. So the velocity of these keyframes. This one, I like this curve like this, generally speaking, as a nice smooth, fast in, slow stop. So let's tighten it up a little bit. So let's bring this down a little bit to about right there. So this way, I really want to get that mountain peak up there like that by adjusting these two arms, so to speak. That's what I call them. So let's look how that brings in live. Okay, so it doesn't have far to travel, so you really got to make your adjustments quick but smooth. Not crazy. Let's see if we can slow it down even more. Maybe extend it out a little bit so we can slow it down. Let's bring this all the way down as much as we can. We got that up there. Okay. And back that up a little bit so we get that mountain peak there. See if that looks any better. Yeah, it's not perfect. Let's try and ease out on the end of that right there. You can right click and go to temporal interpolation and say ease out. It might clean it up just a little bit. Yeah, I think it did. Okay, let's move on to regional entertainment. Close up source text so it's out of our way, and then we have a spike here on this one. So let's see how it looks. It's probably not. That's probably why it's looking a little rough. So let's clean that up a little bit. So we want to start down here, but we want this arm to be short because that's what's going to help us create our crazy mountain peak there. Even shorter than that. Okay, like I said, this is your basic go-to. I need a clean, smooth way to move text that I know is going to work every time. Yeah, there we go. It's slowing. Oh, we have a third one over here. Okay, well, that's just weird. Anyway, let's get rid of the third one here, because that's not helping us much. And let's move this one back to where it belongs. That must have happened at some point when I was messing around with these keyframes, and I'm not sure the Magic Mouse is ideal for video editing because it's taken me to some crazy places before. And it possibly has caused a third keyframe that I wasn't expecting. So That's looking a little better. Okay, I think that's pretty smooth. And these are all fine tuning adjustments, that things that you need to make. Like I said, the the mountain climber is sort of a standard speed in, slow down, come to a nice slow stop. If you just need a go-to, if you want to get crazy and creative, then mess around with these um, velocity adjustments. And now we're going to do a call to action at the end, which was another specification that our client wanted. And so let's, at the end, we're going to do a little something here before it fades out. Dine in, pick up, delivery. So there's your call to action. 15% off. And then you give the obvious, the website where you can order online. And so you get 15% off your first online order. We've worked all of our keyframes and our velocity adjustments so that these text movements are clean and smooth. Dine in, pick up, delivery, 15% off, Groove Street Cafe, boom, end. It's over. All right. So let's go back and review the whole video. Make sure everything is nice and clean and smooth. All right. Okay, who wants to see Ashboro's newest eatery hang around a little bit longer? Like, I feel like it could go into Eating Boy there. And see, these are the kinds of things you discover when you sort of take a little time and review what you're doing. Let's see how that looks. I feel like it could go even longer when it's obvious that we're going to change scenes here. So let's see. Maybe just a smidge longer. All right. Yeah, there you go. And right there's your 30 seconds. Okay. All right, so one of the final things we're going to do now that we sort of have our composition together, so we're going to work on the audio. And I'll play, I really liked the end and how this song went out, like right here. So it's kind of a perfect little ending for that. It's quick, simple. The problem was the song was like 3 minutes long and I have a 30-second video. So what I did is I lined up the ending with where I wanted it to end. And then, of course, I liked the beginning and the rest of the song. And I found a good spot to cut the full-length song to where it would then bring in the ending to close out the video. So it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, this is not a music video. This is not about the music. But you have to do it, edit it in a way that it's also not distracting. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's difficult. depending on the song you choose. If you get a song that's the exact length, then that's great. If your client provides you with music, that's great. You can put it off on them. If you're expected to do the music and you just kind of want to work with what's out there, sometimes you got to chop things up a little bit and make them work. So here's kind of how it sounds at the end. Like I said, not perfect, but if you watch the video, it kind of seems to work. So there you go. Hopefully you can hear that through the microphone. Again, I haven't figured out quite how to get the music piped in directly. So how did I do that? Let's see. Let's turn this down a little bit. We're going to be bouncing all over the place. So I had the original audio that I chose right here. I duplicated it, chopped off the end. Here's the end on the original one. Right there, you can see how it kind of goes down. So I took a section of that where that sort of kind of drum percussion kind of came in, and I put it down here in its own track. And right at the moment where it comes in, this is just kind of like the pen tool. I've got my volume level right here. It was like this. It was a straight line. There were no dots here. All right, so here's how it comes in with just a flat line for the volume. And I want to, just like in Illustrator, you can get your pen tool and put a point there, and you're going to want another point there, right where the new ending is coming in. That is lined up perfectly at the 30-second mark. I think, yeah, should be. We'll double check that. So then what you want to do is leave your 1 point there to maintain the volume right up until here, and then you bring that one down. And so you've got no volume for the original track here and full volume for the new ending here. So that comes in like that. Now that didn't work out as good as I had it before. Let's try that again. There we go. You watch up here. So it's pretty simple. It's basically duplicating tracks and then manipulating them in much the same way you would do it. It's color in Photoshop, bringing some colors down and other colors up. So if you didn't know the edit was there and you're just listening casually, it's probably going to pass right by you. So I think that's going to be the final thing for now. When you get into a call to action like this and you want to make this website hot or anything else clickable and hot, that's going to depend on your platform that you use to advertise, and we'll get into all that in another class. I gave these 3 ending graphics and the footage a quick fade out so that so the ending would look a little smoother. Got a lot of different things going on there. It look a little weird sometimes, so sometimes you gotta just crossfade it or fade it out. One thing I wanted to go over real quick is Premiere, just like the normal layout programs that we're used to, like InDesign and Illustrator. we can update logos in case your client wants to change a graphic or a logo or use a different version of a logo. You can see right here we've got logo Groove Street Cafe number dash 04.eps, and you can use PNGs, JPEGs, but I'm just old school, used to working with EPSs. You can still get transparent backgrounds, as you can see right here. So if you bring in your Illustrator document, like right here, and I was deciding that it's maybe not reading so well across this background, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to change, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this blue. Let me get my tools in here so you can see what I'm doing. And change this blue to white. And then cafe is too small to be knocked out and be readable, so I think I'm just going to change cafe to be black, and in order to find it, because I'm white on white right now, I'm going to view by outline. And I'm going to select cafe, and right now it's white. I'm going to make it black, and then the beauty of this is now this is Groove Street Cafe number 4. All I have to do is save this, and boom, there you go. It's changed throughout the entire video. Quick and easy change. So it's an option. It's good to have. It's good to have options. I'm sure there's other ways to do this, but that's one quick and easy way to do it. Clients love to change things. Or if you're just working with like an FPO in the beginning, they don't have all the graphics together, you're using something that is known as a 4-position only, so you have a roughed in logo like this just to put in the video that you're going to replace later. So the key to making that work is naming your file. You may want to understand is that, again, when I did this rolling in logo, I did it sort of as an example of how you could use multiple motions like position, scale, rotation, opacity all together, and how you could make them look smooth. In reality, that may be a little ridiculous. I don't know. So if your client would like just or if you just want to keep it more simple and you want to kind of undo all this but not lose it, what you can do is you just basically just copy and paste this logo. Where'd it go? All right, let's copy and paste the logo, get it up here on its own layer. And then you can hide. Let's get back here where we're looking. Okay, so it's the same thing. You can hide the other one. So let's hide the other one. See. And what you can do on this one is get it to the position where you want it to just do a good old simple appear, whether it be using a dissolve or opacity or whatever. And then, but you don't want all this kind of silly movement. And again, it may not be silly. I don't know. Use your best judgment. Let your client tell you what to do. So go over here and turn all this stuff off. Now you're going to lose it completely in this layer. So you don't have any more of that. It just kind of comes in. You still got the opacity. That's kind of nice to keep. So that might be a nice simple way of just bringing that logo in. And let's go ahead and make it nice and professional by bringing a video transition, a nice simple additive dissolve in there somewhere. a nice simple additive dissolve in there. So just having a nice simple good old fashioned dissolve in logo could be enough just to show that you know about motion graphics, about Adobe Premiere, and how to put together a quick 30-second video that features your 3 things and then has a call to action at the end, and boom. And you could do the same thing with the logo at the end. Keep it so you didn't have to do the roll in like that, but I just showed you how to do it at the beginning. You can do it again at the end if you want. Yeah, it's up to you. So use your best judgment at this level. I think just showing that you know the basics and how to do motion graphics, you're probably coming in at a, at a good entry level competency. All right, so that's the basics for this project, and I'll try to host all 3 of these videos as one on YouTube for you. All right, looking forward to seeing what you guys do.